The last episode, I really alluded to this a lot. In the last episode, it wasn't really a fun one to record by any means. But one thing that I alluded to in that episode about whether or not Edmonton Oilers fans, or at least specific segments of the Edmonton Oilers fandom, are toxic, was the treatment of goaltender Mike Smith. And so Mike Smith has had a very, very challenging season this year. He's had some illnesses, had a lot of injuries. And when he's come back from those injuries, his play hasn't come along right away, and that has precipitated a lot of people out there. And just basically to come out and say that he needs to have played his last game in the NHL. Mike Smith is done. His career is over. He needs to go away. And one thing that will probably never cease to mystify me about hockey fans is the number of absolute clowns that could never lace skates in beer league that now want to come out and tell us which NHL player's career is over, just kind of based on their own snap judgment. Like these guys, they couldn't skate a lick in the NHL, but they all seem to think that they're like Scotty Bowman or something. That their expertise in this game is enough that they should be able to be the ones to tell the rest of us whose careers are over, and that they should be the arbiters of the professional fates of all these different players. And I have to tell you that all of the people out there that were saying this about Mike Smith owe him an apology. Okay? Apologize to Mike Smith. Because as of the recording of this video, Mike Smith has not allowed a goal in the NHL in more than 120 minutes. He just posted back-to-back shutouts. He's the third star of the NHL, of the entire NHL this week. That player that all sorts of people were telling us was basically done, worthless, over the hill, done. Take him out in the pasture, shoot him, send him to the glue factory, is shutting out the league right now. And for the last little while, I'm not going to lie to you, I have been pretty vocal about this on Twitter. I have definitely taken a lot of pleasure in posting a number of apologize to Mike Smith tweets. And the people that these things are aimed at, they know who they are. And they all need to understand who it is going to decide when Mike Smith is done playing hockey. Okay, it's not you. Okay, it's the coaches. It's the general manager, Ken Holland. It's Mike Smith himself that is going to decide when he's done playing hockey, not you. And I do hear some arguments out there that, they do kind of carry that, they do kind of carry at least a trace of something sensible. I mean, some people are going to come out and say, it's like, oh, yeah, his career is obviously winding down. It's like, well, yeah, he's 40 years old. Okay, so we know that his career is winding down. We've known that for quite some time. The question isn't whether or not his career is winding down. The question is whether or not his career is over. And what we can see from these last few games, from these last couple of weeks, no, it doesn't really look like Mike Smith's career is over. I know that a lot of these people, they don't like to admit when they're wrong. But you know what? You were wrong about Mike Smith. Okay? Apologize to Mike Smith. Hug your goalie. Enjoy the ride over the next few weeks. Because unless there's another catastrophic collapse, this is a team that with just average goaltending could go deep into the playoffs. Based on the way that they have played, in particular since Jay Woodcroft took over the coaching duties. And that's something that I have to own up to too, is that, when I was I wouldn't say dismissive, I wouldn't think of myself as dismissive. I was definitely skeptical about whether or not it was the right move to fire Dave Tippett and bring in Jay Woodcroft in particular. And while I'm not really convinced that the firing of Dave Tippett was something that had to happen, yeah, I do have to acknowledge that, Jay Woodcroft has been a very, very good replacement for him. So, you know what? I'm man enough to admit it. I was wrong about Jay Woodcroft. The loudmouths out there that have been proclaiming the end of Mike Smith's career, there's never going to be a better time than now to come out and admit that you were wrong about that.